So this is the game I had right after that really amazing Smalland ranked game. A lot of people in Twitch chat wanted me to play a destroyer that wasn't overpowered, quote unquote, and see if I could play that well. So gearing seemed to fit the bill. A pretty average destroyer, I would say. Your massive advantage you have in a gearing over basically every other destroyer is your torpedoes. 16 and a half kilometers, they go fast, they do good damage, and they reload quickly. Probably the most usable torpedoes in the game, I would say. Hollands are very close as well. They reload a little faster, they travel quicker, but they don't do as much damage, and they have slightly less range. But gearing is a very, very good destroyer, I think. I think it's better than Shimakaze and even some gunboat destroyers, just because it's got some area denial type of impact. It's got the ability to just help your team more than a lot of other destroyers. Just my presence over here is going to win our team this game, I think. Yeah, it's just very strong. Those torps I sent out, there's something you should be doing a lot of in gearing. You need to torpedo gaps where you think the enemy team is going to be. You can see I'm just poking out around this island right now, and the torps I sent are basically perfectly timed with the other destroyer potentially poking out around the island, if he's taking the same route as me. You can see me turning in slightly. I'm thinking maybe actually I shouldn't say that. The enemy team doesn't have any long range torpedoes, but you can see you can hit torps on things, and we know that's the Fletcher or the Z52. Actually, we know it's Fletcher because Z52 is on this side of the map. So I'm just going to push hyper aggressive here. Now if those torpedoes don't hit, I'm still probably going to be pushing pretty aggressive here because I have a Venezia backing me up. The Lepanto and Goliath don't really have very good angles on me here, and my Venezia is in a great position right now to back me up. He's playing this quite well. He's angled away from the battleships. We get spotted, and yeah, the Fletcher's on 0 HP, so we're just going to kill him outright here. But still, this would be an excellent play, even if we didn't hit the torpedo, because it's highly likely my Venezia would have smashed that Fletcher. And even if we don't kill him outright, it would have been an excellent, excellent trade. So just in that, destroyer gone. We lose a destroyer on the other side of the map, but that's okay. And again, we're torping gaps. We're torping where the enemy Goliath and Lepanto were. Lepanto turns out, but we do get fortunate in hitting 2 torpedoes here on the Goliath bow win. That won't always happen, but it's definitely nice when it does. And you can see I'm flanking right away. The enemy team doesn't have a destroyer, so they're less likely to push. Pushing without a destroyer screening is very, very dangerous. And that's why I'm not sitting in the middle, just constantly spotting and that kind of thing. I'm trying to flank and get their broadsides, because they're very likely to sit bow in and try and farm somebody out or that kind of thing. You can see that our Slava has kind of taken up a position to do some cross-map shots. I think that's a very good play from him, actually, because it's very unlikely that the enemy team pushes here. And if they do, I mean, a gearing with this kind of torpedo reload is definitely a great option to kill people as they push in. I did have the option here to actually cut north and get behind all these people, but I think that's a bad play, because eventually they'll figure out that I'm in the north, and then they'll just push for our B cap. And at that point, I'm basically useless. When you're torping from behind people, it's really, really difficult to land torpedoes. Even with gearing having these really long-range, nice torpedoes, it's really difficult to torp them. So I think coming back was the better option here. This is kind of what destroyer play is in my mind. It's a lot of area denial. Me being here means that the enemy team can't push very easily. Yes, we killed the destroyer, which is nice as well. But even if we didn't kill the destroyer, something that you can do as a destroyer player is just give your team the assurance that the enemy destroyer isn't in a certain area. So me coming back to this area of the map, if the enemy destroyer was alive, would let my team know, okay, the enemy DD isn't flanking from this side of the map. He's not on the 9-10 line, so he's probably closer to the middle, and that's where they got to watch torps from. Just your presence being in certain areas can definitely help your team out. Now here, I think about YOLOing the Lepanto. If he decides to push aggressively here, it would have been a great play because Lepanto and all Italian battleships are incredibly weak against destroyers. They have no way of dealing really any alpha damage to them. And with the long reload, poor accuracy, and only dealing 10% of their alpha damage, really very easy to take out if they decide to push into you. He turns out, so we launched some torps for him. And I'm just gonna, smoke up and start shooting. I started shooting the Goliath without smoking up, and that's because his turrets were turned the other way. There's no point in smoking up then. And now, because the Thunder is getting lit by our Slava, I don't really have a problem with smoking up. We have, 2 more smokes after this, and, well, may as well use them at some point. Stay a little safe. Maybe we'll need to do something about the radar in a little bit. But honestly, this game is basically won at this point. The Slava might even get a ram off, which would be even better. An amazing trade there. And yeah, this was right after that Smolensk game that I had that was also very good. So, destroyers, very strong. Very, 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 very strong class to play in ranked battles. And a lot of it is working with your teammates. And my spotting and somewhat aggressive play has definitely helped us to win this flank. Part of the reason I was so confident is just that Venezia was there, honestly. When you have a Venezia on your side and the enemy team doesn't, it's almost always in your favor to trade HP. Even if that DD didn't get hit by a torpedo, because the Venezia is going to hit so hard against enemy destroyers. It's crazy. Stalingrad radar. It's the first time getting radar this game, and we have enough HP that we can just turn away. I'm expecting this Stalingrad to kite away towards the sea cap. I didn't think he would continue to push in, but he actually does end up pushing in, which is kind of a interesting option for him, but not a bad one. Dodge the torpedoes and maybe applies some pressure to our Venezia, that kind of thing. But yeah, we have so much HP that it's very, very unlikely that they're going to actually do they're going to do meaningful damage. They won't kill me. Lepanto secondaries can't even pen me unless it's the 155 or 150 millimeter guns. So yeah, pretty useless secondaries on the Lepanto. But the man built for them, so I can respect that, I guess. Poor guy just doesn't have a very good ship in that regard. But yeah, destroyer play. Give it a shot if you're struggling in ranked, and yeah, you can have games like this where you, as long as you know where and when to torp, when to apply pressure, when to not apply pressure, destroyers are very good at controlling a game. Limiting the enemy team from moving around, from limiting their spotting, all that stuff. And then when you get situations like this where the enemy team ships aren't even looking at you, you can just open up. Especially late game when it's basically over. May as well get a little bit of extra damage out and try and kill the Stalingrad. Gearing does have some pretty strong AP. They have buffed it since release, so it's actually pretty good now. Especially against broadsides, you can get some pretty decent salvos on people. I think playing Destroyer is a lot of fun, just not all the time. This kind of playstyle isn't for everyone. It's certainly not for me all the time, but you can do some real damage with these ships, because Destroyer is all about decision making. It's very little about the actual RNG of the game or aiming, that kind of thing. It's all about good decision making. So if you're someone who gets tired of some of the RNG that's involved with cruisers or battleships, give Destroyers a shot. And you can definitely get rewarded for your good decision making. And that's why I do play Destroyers every once in a while, because I do get tired of the RNG. And then you get games like this where you just can carry by making good decisions. It's fun. So Hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, destroyers are great, even if you don't play the most overpowered one. And yeah, hope you have a great day.